Hey students, welcome to another Mr. Ness screencast. Today's aim is the 13 colonies, and here are your objectives. Pause the video to look these questions over and get ready to copy some vocab terms and take some notes. In the previous videos, you saw how several European countries colonized the New World starting in the 1500s, and two of those countries, England and France, colonized most of the land in North America. Today, we're going to look more closely at England's colonies in North America. England had a huge empire at this time with colonies all over the world. But for the rest of this unit in US history, we're going to focus on a specific group of colonies, the ones that England controlled on the east coast of North America. We call specific colonies the 13 colonies because there were 13 of them in one area, the east coast of North America. And the reason that we're focusing on this group of colonies is because those 13 colonies would eventually become the United States, the country that we live in. And you're going to learn more about how that happened later. In this map, the 13 colonies are shaded in red. You can see that they're located up and down the east coast of North America, directly across the Atlantic Ocean from England. Now let's look at why England wanted these colonies. Make sure you copy this down into your vocab. Let me move my face here. There we go. So natural resources are products that come straight from the earth, and the main goal of these British colonists was to make money off of natural resources. Natural resources could be used for sustenance, like growing food, or they could be sold to obtain money. And the most important natural resource in the New World was land, because land could be used to grow different crops that could then be sold for money. For Europeans at this time, land was the key to wealth and status, and the important people in society were the people that owned a lot of land. Other important natural resources besides land and crops included fish, animal furs, and wood from trees. All of these things could be sold to earn money. So for Europeans, the number one goal of imperialism in the New World was to increase their wealth and status by acquiring land and other resources. However, there was a small number of colonists who left England and went to the 13 colonies seeking not so much money, but religious freedom. These colonists were a minority, but they're important because they had a significant influence on a few of the 13 colonies, especially one called Massachusetts. All right, let's end by understanding how England governed the 13 colonies. Technically, the King of England was the ruler of all 13 colonies. But in practice, it was difficult for the king to really control the colonies because they were thousands of miles away from England, and communication and travel at this time was really limited. Instead, the king often allowed colonists to elect their own leaders and pass their own laws, and we refer to this system as self-government. In other words, the colonists were allowed to govern themselves, rather than being fully controlled by the King of England. These forms of colonial government are important in US history because they encouraged, among the colonists, a feeling of independence from England, and they influenced the government of the eventual United States. Let's look at some specific examples of colonial self-government. In two of the 13 colonies, Connecticut and Massachusetts, colonists drafted their own constitutions, laying out their own ideas of how their colony would be governed. In Connecticut, this constitution was called the Fundamental Orders, and in Massachusetts, the constitution was called the Flower Compact. And in a third colony, the Virginia colony, male colonists who owned property could vote for a group of lawmakers called the House of Burgesses, which was similar to today's Congress. All right, it's time to review the objectives. If you missed the answer to any, just rewind the video and look again. And I will see you in class. Bye, students.